ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow at 7 with Stack Comedy that I mentioned earlier. As I said, it is a blast. You should come and check that out. Your next comedian is actually from Dallas. He is tearing it up currently in Chicago right now, and you can see him this weekend performing with his improv troupe, Samurai Drunk. Everybody start clapping for the very funny and one of my very good friends, Mr. Brian Moody!
It is snowing today in Chicago. Fuck that. That's awful. I'm really glad, I am there though. I enjoy it a lot. I don't have to drive anymore. I sold my truck before I moved there. I take public transit, which is entertaining. But right before I left, I was driving to work. I had to drive everywhere, 45 miles to work. And then to here is bad, but right before I left, I was driving and I got cut off by a guy. And I'm real chill, so our response to getting cut off, I was just oh man. But then I saw he had a honk if you heart Jesus bumper sticker. So I did, because it's blasphemy not to. And that's when he gave me this thing. Which that upset me, because all I had to do was look at my bracelet to realize that Jay would not D that. So, alright, cool, we're playing sign language. I got this. Even that thing. And that upset him. He did the turn and flipped me off. Alright, Brian, you got this guy right where you want him. It's time to double down. This motherfucker swerved over, and then the passenger, the lane next to me, right in my passenger window, and he was half hanging out his window yelling at me, and I should have this conversation with this guy. I did just jizz on a Silverado and give him double bukkake face. So, by the way, ladies, if you don't know what bukkake is, you can either Google it or ask the guy you came with. He knows. But yeah, I panicked, and because I drive the opposite of a fully loaded truck, it's really hard to do this going down the highway. So I used the only sign language I could think of at the time, which is this. Which I don't know how many of you were in the 8th grade sign language choir at the First Baptist Church of Mansfield, Texas. But that means I love Jesus. And that's how I kept myself from getting killed by a tea party on I-35. The only other sign language I really remember from sign language choir is rain, beautiful, and no Christmas tree for you. We just used that one during the winter recitals. While we're talking about it, you can tell I come from a very Christian home, so I'm going to read to you an excerpt from the Bible real quick. This is Deuteronomy 25:11. If two men are fighting, and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant, and she reaches out and seizes him by his private parts, you shall chop off her hands and show her no mercy. What? Just yeah, chop them off! There's got to be a reason, why this drastic measure, so we're going to read the next verse for clarification. Do not have two differing weights in your bag. One heavy, one light. Nope. No clarification whatsoever. Not at all. Alright, so this is far too specific in an order to not have a story behind it. So I'm going to tell you what happened. There was a whole bunch of Jews wandering the desert. And they're we need more laws, because 10 Commandments isn't cutting it. And they probably realized 10 Commandments wasn't cutting it when they realized thou shalt not rape is not one of the 10 Commandments. You better not, you better honor your mother and your father, and you better not covet. But force fucking someone, not top 10. That's not top 10. So there's a whole bunch of guys in a tent, and one guy's I have a law. All right, go. So you remember that one time me and Yahushua Goldstein were fighting? Yeah, Saul, we remember that. And I was beating the shit out of him, right? Yeah. And then his wife Ruth came and grabbed my nuts. Said, yeah, that was messed up. Said, don't let that ever happen to me again. Said, well, what are we going to do about it? I don't know, we can whip her a few times. And one really, really misogynistic jerk in the back was no, fuck that dude! We're going to chop off both her hands and show her no mercy! And then there's a really timid guy in the corner. He's I have one too. It's about weights. do it. I don't know how I feel about, heaven and hell, if they're real or not, all that. I do know at this time, like, if heaven and hell are real, I don't think I want to go to heaven, because, like, I have, like, 6 dogs to take care of at this point, and I have no free time, so, that's an all dogs go to heaven joke. It's a good joke when it's funnier after you explain it. While we're talking about that, did anybody watch movies like, like Benji or like Milo and Otis when they're little? Like all those? Yeah, those good animal movies, they always make you feel good. Except Old Yellow, that was real sad. But it's weird, we have this like type of thing where we mourn celebrity deaths, but nobody realizes like all those animals from those movies are dead. Like all of them. Like Milo and Otis, both of them dead. Air Bud, dead. Beethoven, dead. All 101 Dalmatians, dead. Homeward Bound, Sassy's dead. Chance, he's not young and spry anymore, he's dead. Shadow barely survived the movie. He's definitely dead. Well, I'm ruining your memories of your childhood. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I used to work at DFW Airport. And I was a bartender there, and it was just really cool. You got to meet different people, sometimes, kind of famous people. It was neat. My favorite person I ever met was Steve Harwell. Yeah, that's a response I expected, because that's the lead singer of Smash Mouth. And I met him, it was like 8 in the morning. He came and sat at my bar, and he ordered his Bloody Mary, and like I made it for him, and then had the obligatory airport bartender conversation, which is the conversation starter, which is so where are you heading? And he's like, heading to California. Just got back from Brazil. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And like he talks exactly like he sings too, by the way. And I said, so what were you doing in Brazil? He's like, no, wait, let me tell you, Brazilian girls are crazy. I was like, oh, okay, I did a semester abroad. I think foreign girls just like Americans. He's like, no, Brazilian girls are crazy. And then he pulled out his phone and pulled up a picture and showed me this picture of him sticking a Heineken bottle into a girl's vagina. Which, remember, I don't know who this guy is. He's just a random dude at this point. So my response is what you would expect, which was this. And like trying to change the subject because there's nobody else in the bar and everything's open. I can't walk away. I gotta talk to this guy. So I said, what were you doing in Brazil? And I wanted to finish the sentence, other than that. He's like, I'm in a band, I'm in a show down there. I said, oh, okay, what band are you in? And he goes, Smash Mouth. And I almost went, I recognize you from the end of the movie Rat Race. And I wanted a good tip, so I couldn't say that. Then I realized, like, this dude wrote the soundtrack to 5th grade for me. And now all of my memories of 5th grade are just ruined. Because all I can see when I think of 5th grade is a girl getting fucked with an import. And Shrek is ruined too, because they wrote that soundtrack, and that bottle's green. So, it's awful. That's weird. He's like, he's not an attractive dude. If you remember him from the All-Star video, he's not an attractive dude. Like, there's no way he was like a shitty guy that does that type of thing his whole life. Like, I'm a good guy. Like I hope that if I'm ever like real successful with comedy, that I don't turn into a shitty person. Like I'm a good guy because I had to be. Like, I was nerdy as hell in high school. Like, I was in a club literally called the Jedi Council in high school. That's how nerdy I was. So, it's new for me. Like, it's a very new thing for me to have confidence to be able to go talk to a girl at a bar, especially new for me to be able to go home with a girl that I met that night. And so, full disclosure, like, if I'm going out, I drink beer, and beer makes me gassy. And if I have had enough courage to go hit on a girl I don't know, I've had a lot of beer. So if I go home with a girl, I'm gonna be gassy all night, so after we have sex, like I'm gonna need to fart. But I'm a good guy, and I have it inside me, I don't wanna do that. She just did the honor of having sex with me, I'm not gonna Dutch oven her now. But what can I do? Like, I can't go into her bathroom because I don't know how thin the walls are. I don't want to hear. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I can't excuse myself outside. So I asked my friend who's really good with girls and has been his whole life, like, what do you do? He's like, this is what I do. I go into her bathroom and I take either her towels or her washcloths and stick it between my ass cheeks. And then I fart into it, it muffles it, man. She can't hear anything. And he's like saying it all smooth. And my response is exactly what you're thinking, like, so you shit on her towels. And he goes, oh, well. And like, I thought he was just screwing with me to get me to do something real sick. But then I realized, like, all of his ex-girlfriends had pink eye all of the time. This is a tried and true method. This happened. I hang out, like, my friends are weird, like, my family's weird. Like, to give you an example of the weirdness of my family, my grandma, her first name is Oma, which if you speak German, you know Oma in German means grandma. So when my grandma was born, her parents named her grandma. Like, they just really liked Benjamin Button, I guess. But yeah, my family's like, they're from East Texas and Oklahoma. They're like really, really country and redneck. Like, to show you how redneck they are, I have a cousin who his parents got married and they had Todd, my cousin. And then Todd's dad died. And then my aunt married my uncle, making Todd's new stepdad like his step-uncle dad. Which you would think is like, oh, it's gross and like kind of incestuous. But I'm going to tell you right now that too is covered by Deuteronomy chapter 25. And we Moody's, we follow this shit to a T because it's divinely inspired. And that's why my mom doesn't have any hands. I'm Brian Moody, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Everybody, once again, you can see them sometimes on Friday or Saturday with Samurai Drunk. Go ahead and look that up and get tickets. Super fun. Guys, your next comedian came up from Austin.